Welcome. Welcome to another show of Under the Bonnet with Dino. This week I've got a special, how would I describe it? Dino's Deals. That's easy to remember. The question I'll be asking this week, which is a good one, many people have asked me this, is what vehicle would I trust with my life? Now, there's a very special reason for this. Um, Look, I've owned Astons, Lotuses, expensive cars, yet the answer isn't any of them. Um, I'd just like to take you back, if I can, back to my very first foray with exotic cars, and this is honestly, this is true. I'm laughing because it's really quite remarkable. Um, the Lotus that I had was a Lotus V8 in yellow Esprit. It was the end of the generation lines. It was beautiful. I'm laughing because I know what's coming, and I thought, this is it. I've made it. I've got my first car. My first. This is going back 20 years, by the way, or a bit. No, even more. Crikey, how time has travelled. So picture the scene. I bought the car. I've done a great deal. Big local garage. I shan't mention who they are. And very excited. And I usually try and buy a car on my birthday. So it just adds something special. So, big yellow Lotus, and I pick it up, and right, I'm going to drive it back home. And as I'm driving home, and this must be, not a massive distance, and in the first 20 minutes I broke down. Now, this should have been an omen. This should have been an omen and say, stop, think. No, but I'd paid everything across. I'd done a lot. And I broke down. The garage came out quickly. They put screens around the car. This big yellow Lotus flashing. It's me, it's me, it's me. And yep, just a minor glitch. Sorry, sir. Carry on. And off I went. And another 10 minutes later, bang! That's it. Broken down again. Now, it's not so much breaking down, it's where you break down. And in my case, it was outside a girls' school. And it is the most terrifying experience I've ever had because they were just coming out of school. And boy, they can make you shrink and shrivel, and honestly, the things that they were saying. And the best thing I could do was get inside the car and just sit there, and just hopefully this will end soon. It took a bit of time for them to come out, and they came out again, and they said, no, we can't fix it. And it went back to the garage. They gave me a very reliable Golf as a hire car whilst they fixed it. I picked it up again the next day, and I was going to go out, special night out. And what happened? Got into the car, turned everything on, no lights, nothing, no electrics, nothing, completely gone. So although it was a fantastic car, and also I couldn't drive it, I could only drive it in second. If I was lucky, I could get it into third. But boy, was it hard to do because it was that double D clutching. What do you do with that? I still don't understand. But that was an era of my life where cars got really interesting. I loved cars as a little boy. I'd cut out a little the descriptions of cars, and I can remember Rolls Royce silver It was a silver shadow, and I remember writing down the stats and what it was like, and it was just absolutely fabulous. So it brings me back. It brings me back round to the question of what car. Firstly, do I trust him? What is the most reliable? And I have to take you back to a time of when I used to travel an awful lot. I used to own a manufacturing clothing company, and I regularly travelled to many places. But the one that really has caught my attention was going out to Pakistan, and it was an experience that I still just it's part of my life. Let me tell you. Oops, sorry about that. I got so excited, everything moved. So, traveling out regularly, and I would arrive in Lahore, Lahore being the central hub of manufacturing. And the first thing that you encounter when you get off the plane is the heat. I know the heat you can say is in many places, but there's something different arriving in Pakistan because it's the heat, the smell, and also the hospitality. It starts right there, and the that was amazing. Perhaps I can do even a podcast on Lahore and what it was like. But let me just go and say a little bit more about this, as I don't want to digress too much. But this is the pivotal reason why I'm choosing the best car. So you arrive there, the hospitality is great. When you arrive into the airport lounge, the hall, it is just absolute chaos. There's people everywhere. For every one person that's leaving from Lahore, 10 of the family are there, and it's the same receiving the person coming off the plane. 10 stand there, and it was already pre-warned that we were arriving, and we were taken. They recognised us. They got the passports, and we were taken quite scarily to the area where it's no man's land, and you meet the head of the airport there, and there's the first thing that you notice is there's guns everywhere on all the security, and you think, wow. Difference is that the guns looked used. They are different to the UK constabulary using guns, because they're nice and clean. Now these guns have got scratches on, and you think, ooh. And we were sat in the office, and there they were, and they said, "Oh, would you drink this? This is." I remember it was horrible, but the kindness that they showed, they were trying to spread the hospitality, and for a first time arriving in Pakistan, because this was before 9/11. And I was going after 9/11 when things changed dramatically, but that's a story for another time. So you go to collect, you as in me, go to collect the luggage, and the security men have big sticks. I am not kidding. These sticks are about 4 foot long, a bit like a cane, really, quite thin. Reminds me of being back at school, at boarding school. Anyway, so they beat a path, literally beat a path to pick up your bags. Very kind of them. And at the other end, we're greeted with our associate who picks us up and takes us everywhere. And the first thing you notice is again the heat hits you, the smell. It's a sweet smell, which is really peculiar. Um, and the amount of people and the heat. And you go to the car and you said, all right, no, sit in the back if you wouldn't mind. And there's a chap in the front, and I looked around, and he's got a gun, and thought, okay. A big double, single barrel shotgun, as I learned later. And it's very odd because armed guards travel everywhere where you go. And, and that's really quite important. And the car, obviously, that you're travelling in, you don't want to break down. That's the first and quite a very important point. Don't break down. And it becomes suddenly very important that they are there. Now, for moving around everywhere in Pakistan, we had one guard, or two guards if we were both in the car. But if we're going in separate cars, a guard would sit that side and that side to you. So you'd sit in the middle. You'd have a guard at the front and then a driver, and it's astonishing. And I would travel all over Pakistan, meet absolutely quite fabulous people. The kindness doesn't matter how much money they had, they shared it. So don't. My experience says, don't judge a nation upon one person, or because there are many bad apples out there, especially now. So try to judge on it's yeah. Take it as a broad stroke and I've travelled all over the world and met just bizarre people. And the story that sticks with me in Pakistan is when I was there, I met one evening. We were going out to dinner at a it's quite bizarre, at an authentic Pakistani restaurant. So it's like going back many years as they would, and I think, okay, my stomach's still rather good at this point. Nothing's wrong. And we met the head of, I think they call it the ISI. ISI, that's correct. And he was a charming man. And if you know anything, the ISI are the Secret Service for Pakistan. And it is rather odd that when he arrived, there's thousands of people walking the street, and then all of a sudden, like that, the car rolls down the street and it's got black number plates on. And you think, wow, everybody's moving out of the way. And he arrives in, and we have a very nice dinner, very pleasant indeed. It was actually sort of like going around and having a picking bits of food up banquets. And there was one station where I stopped, and the gentleman said, "Budgie," and I thought, what does that mean? And he had a cage, and there were actually budgies in there. And he said, "Would you like to budgie?" Well, what they were doing, get a budgie, squeeze its neck, stick it in the pan, and wrap it around with something. Oh, I said, no, thank you. No budgies today for me. It puts a new thought, doesn't it, on budgie smuggling. Now, again, if you have a look at the vehicle, I won't say again what the vehicle is. They're all over the place, and you really have to think that security again is optimum. Okay, if you're head of the Secret Service, uh, you do have some clout, especially when you've got black plates. And that particular evening, as the gentleman, the head of the ISI, uh, said to his chauffeur, "I'd like to drive." So what what bizarrely happened is that the Secret Service gentleman uh, drove the car, but he drove it so slowly that his chauffeur could walk on the outside of the car. The most bizarre thing I've ever experienced in driving your own car. Um, but hey, I cannot say why or if that's a good or a bad thing. It is what it is in Pakistan. Now, one particular trip in Pakistan, we were going to Islamabad, which is way from Lahore, a long way, and the roads are really, really quite treacherous, and the journeys are long, and um, the car that we're in is it's imperative. You don't want to break down. You're quite aware of the guards on either side, and it, it's quite strange that okay, you think of what would I say, the owners of factories. They are under armed guard everywhere, and not necessarily just in the car, but also the rear and the front. There are cars there, and they're all, as they would say in Snatch, they're all tooled up. And you know, you've got to think what on earth is going on, and there's just such a throng of people, and it's people perhaps taken advantage, or but everything that I've experienced in Pakistan was just wonderful. I love the people. I love the place. The place is fantastic because it dates back to of when you're in almost colonial times, you know, going to the polo club in Lahore, which again was a bizarre experience, and having high tea. I did try and learn how to speak Urdu, and I was given a book, and it was, oh, I see. So and it dated back to colonial times. So the servant would be in the lower house, and the master would be in the upper house. Or if you think of it as a series of Ain't Half Hot Mum, but that's in India. And I'll save my travels for another program there. But I wanted to bring you on this journey of what it was like, the heat, and how you feel that you're involved in the things that are going on around you, and you have to have a vehicle that can survive everything, that can take huge miles, that's got lots of parts availability, it's strong, and it's got to be comfortable. So what car was I in? Toyota. It was a Toyota Land Cruiser, of course, a 4.2 diesel. Um, so it would have been in the 1990s, and that for me is the most important thing. Um, is there a model that I would avoid? No. Any budget. The 1990s eras are really good. The 4.2. And I'd buy that in a heartbeat if you can find one. And it's not simply why a Land Cruiser is the best, because look, I've owned fast cars, I've owned prettier cars, I've owned more expensive cars, a lot more expensive. But if I had to leave tomorrow and drive around the world, I'd choose a Toyota Land Cruiser. Not because it's exciting, it's because it gets you home. And that's the most important, because it's the one that I would trust with my life. And breaking down wasn't an option in Pakistan. And that's why it's absolutely imperative that you have to have a reliable car there. And the gentleman of the ISI was driving a Toyota Century, which have a look it up, and it's completely bizarre. Oh yes, I've just remembered. The fuel station story. You. So we had to stop for some fuel, and one of the things that I have is a bizarre encounter. It's strange. Of course, there's lots of people that are begging for money that you can see going on left and right hand side. But you pull up in the station, and there's a gentleman sat there with several guns, one strapped around him, and had a wad of cash like that. And he's the guy who takes the money for the petrol. But I still don't know to this very day. Perhaps somebody can tell me why. That all this cash is on show, and he's sat there with the shotgun. So you pull up, you give him the money first, and then you can have your petrol. Again, it's rather bizarre, and it could be quite a frightening thing looking back, but at the time I wasn't frightened at all. You just sort of get on with it, and I liked the place so much. Every other car was a Toyota, and there is a reason, isn't there? Because you feel safe. You feel safe that you'll get there. And so, Dino's deal of the week. I'll end with this. I really do like the battery charger. It's the deal of the week for me, and I have put a link below. I do get a small commission from Amazon providing this link, and it's a great thing. I've got two battery chargers there. One for a bigger battery and one for a smaller one, which includes your classic cars. It's important to keep your battery charged at all times, and it's essential. It's an essential piece of kit, I think, and that's why it is Dino's deal of the week. I was going to say a NACO, but it's NOCO battery maintainer. It's not glamorous, but it could save you a lot of money, because if you've got a classic car, a weekend toy, or maybe even that modern car that sits just waiting, then this is a purchase that quietly pays off, as well as having very good oil. Make sure you have good oil. Like I said in my last podcast, Mobil 1 I recommend for Aston Martins, and also the Mobil 1 5W30. It's good synthetic oil, brilliant. All links are available. I hope you have enjoyed my journey with you across Pakistan, and then perhaps next time I'll tell you more about going up to the Himalayas and the helicopter, and again, new experiences, new motor cars, different things. But in the meantime, thank you very much for listening. I really do appreciate it, and please keep looking at Dino's deals, and thank you.